right, we're here with Nick from CMO. He's the CMO for MModal, and we're going to learn about the MModal technology. So tell us a little bit about the history of MModal, Nick.
Hi John, appreciate the time and the opportunity. So MModal came from a different heritage of speech and speech understanding. What we were trying to do was to apply the technology in a different setting. We worked with the NSA and the CIA to listen into telephone and radio signals overseas. What's interesting about that population of individuals is that you can't influence their behavior. We couldn't call them up and say, hey, would you pronounce it this way, or could we hear the punctuation? And it bears a lot of relevance to the physician population in that it's very difficult to influence their behavior, and in part we don't want to influence their behavior. What we want to do is to adapt the technology to them. So we turned the whole process on its head and said, instead of asking physicians to behave in a different way, what we would do is apply the technology and try and have the technology adapt to them. So the core underlying principle for MModal is speech understanding, is to say, let's understand what they say, let them do what they do, which is narrate and essentially brain dump, but then apply a back-end processing that extracts that information and produces clinically structured data that is tagged against a variety of controlled medical vocabularies that essentially provides the input to the electronic health record, includes the narrative, and I think from a physician perspective, we want to read the narrative. The electronic medical record needs that semantically interoperable data. So our underlying container is the health story CDA document that allows for the sharing of that information, contains both of those elements, but instead of just including narrative, which is then lost to the EMR, we tag that information, and it includes the codes that allows the EMR to process it, so it becomes clinically actionable data.
So is this something that an EMR integrates, or how would a doctor use this?
So in fact, 96% of physicians don't even know that they're using our technology. It's used in the background by a variety of vendors. But all of our solutions are integrated with a variety of vendors. So you'll see it on the floor. GE have integrated our solution. Greenway Medical is showing our solution, and there's a variety of others. They provide it. In fact, you might not know it's MModal because it's presented in the form of GE or in Greenway. So it's as if it's their application. They send the audio to us, we send back structured information that then get incorporated into their solution. So from a physician perspective, it's almost transparent. What we're doing is voice enabling these applications to allow them to generate structured data as opposed to just pure narrative, and then they satisfy both of those requirements, both for the EHR as well as the physician demand that says, I want to read the narrative to give me the information about my patient.
Interesting. So you got the narrative and the data elements quantified so that they can be transferred, they can be interpreted and filtered?
Correct. So it's semantically interoperable both for technology, for the electronic health records, but also from a physician perspective. There's nothing more interchangeable than a piece of paper with a narrative for a physician to read. The problem is a piece of paper is a fixed piece of information. So we digitize that, we put it into the CDA document, which is the health story structured environment, and then we can share that, and that becomes an open standard that anybody can consume and put into each of the discrete fields as well as containing that narrative.
And you're doing this for transcription companies also?
So transcription companies have been using this. The top 8 out of the top 10 transcription companies are using our solution behind the scenes. They get some value add in terms of saving money, resources, and so forth. And as part of that process, since we use a software as a service model, we deliver that and we learn from every single correction that's applied to that process. So every time an editor looks at a physician's dictation, corrects it, applies the right tags and so forth, we learn from that. So as a business model, we're constantly learning from every single physician that dictates throughout the US, so that we have this enormous corpus of knowledge that we can apply to every single dictation in the future.
Very interesting. Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much.